All right. Good evening, everyone. Hi. We are live on Facebook, straight from Adani Institute of Infrastructure Management, and this is Hiren Mandalia. This side, I have with me Professor Diptiranjan Mahapatra. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
We are starting with this particular session today because we wanted to talk about infrastructure. We wanted to talk about this institute, and we wanted to talk about Adani Institute of Infrastructure Management, which runs an infrastructure management program. And also we have been receiving quite many queries and quite many questions from a lot of students, a lot of parents and people from academia and industry alike about the program. So we wanted to discuss about the program. So all your queries are welcome, all your questions are welcome, and we will start interacting and we will also be taking some questions that we already have received over a lot of emails as well. So Professor, first of all, if you can just brief us about what this institute is about.
Thank you, Hiren. So let me just give you a background of this institute, how it got conceptualized. So way back in 2009, the chairman wanted that to cater to the in-house needs, and he had a grand vision actually that obviously it goes beyond the in-house needs, but primarily they thought that India is growing at a faster pace and infrastructure is core to the growth. Right. And there is a shortage of infra managers. That's a unique concept because till point managers usually come from the standard business school, which is which is the standard kind of accepted sort of industry norm. Now here we are talking about an MBA program or PGDM program, which is a very sector specific program.
Right. Okay.
So because there was a need actually, because India is moving from this typical constructing those infrastructure to managing those infrastructure. So right. This change was obviously the chairman had this vision that going forward, this managing the infrastructure will be a challenge. Because constructing we have enough of manpower as well as big companies, companies, typical EPC companies who are great in terms of building those infrastructure, be it roads, ports, power plants, but managing those assets will be a challenge. So that I think was the core of his thought, and in fact that was very exciting actually. How do we create a business school without losing the essential characteristic of business school yet? Give it a sense that it is larger than the typical MBA program.
Okay.
And it is need, it is catering to a particular need, and need is there. That means, so what happens in a typical business school that as the placement season approaches, people scramble around, in terms of finding the right company, right job, right this thing, right that thing. Here we are closing that option. In the sense, here in fact here the institute is already decided that the graduates will go straight to the big infrastructure houses, banks, owner, and those kind of companies, including consulting companies. But the sector is fixed now.
Okay.
So that was the concept. So we started with a one-year program in 2009, and it went really well till 2015. Then in the 2015 we decided let's switch gears without again losing the essential characteristic of the program, which is the one-year program, and we switched to two-year program.
Okay.
And
all right.
The moment you go to two-year program, obviously there has to be an approval process. We got the AICTE approved, thing in place, and since 2015 the two-year program is on. And we are very happy that if I look back, I think the one-year program has been absolutely, I would say, readily and happily accepted by the industry, and all of our graduates are there in strategic positions actually in most of the infra companies. I do not want to name these companies. Right. And we hope that the same trend is going to continue actually. So that is how the story of the institute is.
Right.
Yeah. And we are well placed. In terms of one example that I always give, that how this institute is so blessed, or how we are so privileged, is that it is part of a larger, in fact it is part of the largest infra conglomerate, the Adani Group. And the institute is into the same space that the parent group is into. The only thing is that we are teaching academic and they are practicing.
Okay.
And the institute is the melting point actually. Correct. I see that as a melting point.
Right.
And
okay.
nowhere across the globe, I do not see this kind of synergistic, collaborative school in general exist anywhere.
Right. Okay. Okay.
And
so what essentially we are trying to say is that the institute is basically teaching the same thing that the parent group practices.
They not teach the same thing. I'm saying that usually what happens in academic space that as a faculty, who is passionate about infrastructure sector, he would actually let's say go to 10 different companies to prepare case studies to understand the nuanced sort of architecture of the industry. Here it is given in the sense I can easily access to the power company, I can easily access to the port company, I can easily access to the SCJ company, I can easily access to the real estate company to understand and something that that is so essential to that that particular industry, which is always missing in a standalone business school actually. The industry interface thing is absolutely missing, and that is why industry usually. I would not say, I hate to use this word, but industry usually look down upon generalist MBA.
Right.
General MBAs.
Okay.
They believe that the general MBAs throw a lot of abstract concept, which is detached from the industry needs.
Achha.
Here the same abstract concept get intertwined with the industry specific needs.
Right.
That I hope that is palatable. I hope that is the reason why industry is enjoying our graduates.
Correct. Okay. Coming down to the basics, Professor, how would you really define infrastructure for a layman? And because see, generally what we have seen is that whenever somebody speaks of infrastructure, we have these visuals in mind of a concrete structure and the buildings and the roads and the dams and the highways. Those typical physical assets. Agreed that they are most important assets for an overall economic development. But how would you in this dynamic times and the changing times define infrastructure for us? And if I can just add one more question to that, how does the institute really define infrastructure management with that perspective?
Right. So so you're right actually. In the first question is absolutely is that infrastructure to a layman actually, or rather if I have to put it across, it is something that supports economic activity.
Right. Okay.
Many of us, mistakenly believe that infrastructure is only the hard infrastructure. For example, roads and power plants, and they are infrastructure. They are one category of infrastructure. And some people also mistakenly believe that infrastructure is IT infrastructure. Again, IT infrastructure is infrastructure. But there is also a softer side of infrastructure, which is absolutely again a missing link in the entire educational curriculum actually. The softer side basically would include not necessarily limited to our education, health, the community, the stakeholders, the NGOs. So I think broadly speaking, teaching one part of the infrastructure, whether it is hard or soft, and not dealing with the other is a half-baked cake actually. So you have a particular sectoral understanding, but not in toto. That's one part.
Okay.
And coming to the second part, which is the infrastructure management.
How do we really put infrastructure management into perspective?
Absolutely. So
keeping in mind the way you define infrastructure.
Correct. So we are, in fact, many of our students or many of the prospective applicants or parents, they ask this question. I always define them that we are a business school actually. We are a business school. Fundamentally, we teach the standard bread and butter of any business school.
Okay.
The only thing that differentiates, this or our business school, vis-a-vis other is actually as you progress in the course, you'll have additional doses of infrastructure courses. For example, the big part of infrastructure, because it is highly regulated sector, is the policy part. Whether it is electricity, whether it is port, everything is regulated. And slowly and steadily private sector is coming into the space. So there are two aspects which are very central to this. One is the regulatory and policy aspects, and the other one is the private participation. Because private participation, the moment you invite private party, they do not come with a philanthropic motive. There has to be a rate of return. Right. That means I have to really balance the contract in such a way that there is risk and on the reward is absolutely commensurate.
Okay.
So broadly speaking, if you ask me what are the major highlight of this program, I think one is the policy and economics model, which is very strong. The other one we're trying to strengthen those areas is one One is the finance part, because infrastructure finance slash project finance is an absolutely different ball game compared to the corporate finance. So there we are trying to strengthen that. And the third part is the strategy. So the three blocks, so these three courses are anyway available in other business school.
They are.
But we are trying to, what we are trying to do over here is we are trying to super specialize this kind of functional into the infrastructure sector. That means when I'm teaching corporate finance, I'm also teaching infrastructure finance, I'm also teaching advanced risk management infrastructure finance. So I'm teaching contract management, which is anyway taught in business school. I'm teaching advanced contract management in infrastructure projects. How do a contract get finalized for a P2P projects? So I'm also dealing with land acquisition. I'm also dealing with environmental impact. In terms of strategy also, I'm just taking the strategy to an infrastructure space kind of context.
Right.
So broadly speaking, the courses nature would remain same as compared to a normal business school. But as you advance in the course, you will feel the heat of the course. That slowly and steadily the course is pushing you to those domains actually.
So in general, this program basically is as good as a management program. In fact, it is a business management program, right?
Absolutely.
With a perspective of infrastructure.
Absolutely. With a perspective, with a deep dive actually. So that let me sort of summarize this. The foundational course would remain the same. That means we have HR module, we have finance module, we have strategy module, we have the accounting module, and we have the computing module. On this foundational course, as you proceed, you will deep dive into the sector actually. That means there will be advanced HR in infrastructure. So how HR is practiced in infrastructure. So unless you have the HR 1 clarity in your head, you cannot understand the HR 2. Unless you have the finance 1 in head, that clarity is there, you cannot go into the advanced finance or infrastructure finance. So the foundational course would remain same.
Alright.
The only thing is that we're saying that you deep dive into the sector. I think let me also sort of take one more minute on this. Even in the general management schools, in the top schools, if you see and take a survey, they anyway have labeled themselves as a specialized school without them realizing that. Let me just give some example. One example that for example, within India also we know, let's say AIIM is a place for finance, this for marketing, that for. But if you go to the top schools also, right? For example, if you go to if you go to a school like Kelly Business School, Indiana University, that school has consistently sent its graduates to marketing companies. To marketing companies, because there is a synergy between this school and the FMCG companies. So the point I'm making is that is true for if you want to work in private equity company, you have to go to Stanford School. If you want to, in fact, people say if you want to work in, if you want to work in Apple, then you have to go to Fuqua Business School. So there is already synergy already established between the general MBA program and the industry. So I mean, the general MBA program itself has evolved into a specialized program. That's the point I'm making. Without them realizing it, without them preaching about it.
Got a point.
Just I'm trying to put things in context actually.
No, that's correct. So, Professor, how do we really understand now going forward into this particular discussion is that see, for all our viewers as well, and then for all the people who have commented, and for all the people who are looking forward to this particular program, I am again mentioning a few details which are there. This basically is a PGDM program, which is again an AICTE approved program, and this is a 2 years full-time program. And the way the program has been designed is that it's a residential course. It's a residential program. It's a 2 years full-time rigorous pedagogy that's taught. So, Professor, if you can just delve a bit on the pedagogy of the program and how the program, a residential program, is in a way more beneficial to the students and the prospective aspirants.
Right. So that's a great question, because again, usually typical PGDM program, the core of the delivery is the case methodology. More so in our case, because ours is an applied course. So in general MBA program, obviously, so basically we are relying on the case-based methodology. So either the case we draw from Harvard Business School collection, or we write our own case. So that means if I have to teach a course in, let's say, infrastructure finance, I think, while there are plenty of international cases available,
Okay.
I also encourage faculties to pick, let's say, Delhi Gurgaon Expressway case, which is a fantastic case as far as all the facts of infrastructure put together is concerned. So, so one is the rigor. I think in fact we caution the applicants, come to this space if you want to study.
Correct. Okay.
We have everything available in the campus. We have.
I'll just take a moment, Professor. We have a viewer on the page, Jyoti Keswani. Hello, Jyoti. Hi. Thank you for commenting. Your question, in fact, is relevant because Professor Dityaranjan is actually answering the same question. She's asking, it's in the morning time. What are basically the class timings of the program? So, Jyoti, just for you, just stay tuned. Professor Saab is actually discussing the same thing, that this program is residential in nature.
Absolutely.
Right. So, please go ahead.
Yeah. So the rigor is we are not trying to sort of create any kind of fear factor, but there is we are absolutely competitive in terms of rigor, actually very competitive.
Okay.
So we make sure that the classroom discussion is not rote learning. That means there is nothing but textbook, go to page number this and tell me what is no. It is a case that is given and you have to come prepared, and the instructor would start with the fundamental sort of lead questions actually.
Okay.
So, and there is a percentage of marks that is given for class participation. So the moment you raise your hand,
it's basically in fact a 360 degree.
It's a dialogue actually. It's a dialogue. There is nothing called the lecture is there and and let me just listen as if everything is gospel truth. No.
Right. Okay.
You have to participate. You have to present. And you have to really go outside the classroom to the dormitories. That's why we are talking about this. It's an absolute residential nature because it's 24/7 actually in terms of learning.
Okay.
So compare, just commenting on the timing, the class timing starts at 9 o'clock and it goes till 1:10.
Okay.
So there'll be, so ideally we have 3 to 4 classes per day, 90 minutes each.
Correct.
Not more than 4 classes. In fact, 3 is what we're trying to optimize actually.
Right.
In the afternoon session, we give the participants enough time to prepare for the next day.
Okay.
Because our understanding of the course, or rather the program, is like this: for 75 minutes lecture and for in order to make some constructive class participation, you have to prepare at least 2 hours. That include group discussion, presentation. So you have 3 classes per day, every day basis. That means in the previous night and day you have to prepare at least 6 hours.
Right.
So the structure is, again, we are not. I'm not trying to sort of make any kind of statement that is going to frighten applicants, sort of thing.
Actually, I was wondering the same.
No, it is quite fun. We are only trying to encourage participants to come to this place. If you have lost, or if something, if you always wanted to study but you could not study, this is the place. So because the outcome of this process is very simple. The toppers of this program, at least the past 1-year program, the toppers have always gone to the best places.
Correct. That's right. Correct. Okay.
And that's quite glaring actually. The equation between class performance and his final employment.
Right.
There is an absolute R-square 99 kind of percentage of correlation established actually. And we are following the same thing.
Interesting. Quite interesting, Professor. So in fact, for all the viewers and all the prospective aspirants, just make sure that the program is rigorous, the program is residential, but at the same time, it's quite fun being on campus.
Absolutely.
Because when you are on campus in a residential program, it becomes quite fun. At the cost of repeating myself, it is. Yes, you can actually come personally and then experience it for yourself. That's the idea. Now, Professor, one more aspect that I really want to touch on at this point in time is that the institute is a part of an infrastructure conglomerate, Adani Group. So how does the Adani add that extra edge to the classroom and to the institute? Because Adani Group itself is an infrastructure conglomerate. The largest port player, the largest private power producer, the largest mining player, the largest logistics player. It operates, in fact, the largest special economic zone in India. So how do you really see the group adding value to the institute and in fact the students and overall classroom experience, the learning experience for the students?
Yeah, so again, it will be unfair actually. So to dilute the importance of this group, contribution of spillovers to our sort of delivery in the classroom in just few minutes or few seconds that you're giving. But I'm trying to try to be justice actually.
Correct.
So I will try to contextualize in some examples actually. For example, I'm saying there is a course that is right now running is private equity course.
Okay.
And Professor Srivastav, who is heading the, who is coordinating the PGP program, he is the faculty in charge of that program.
Okay.
And we are so lucky that, from the group,
Okay.
Mr. Devang Desai, who has been at the helm of corporate finance activity and who has been the CFO actually, he consented to deliver this project, to deliver this course.
Okay, great.
I mean, I am not able to imagine a better combination of the mix of practitioner and academician, and a practitioner who has been involved in the private equity kind of activity for the group for the last so many years.
Right. Okay.
He is getting, sort of joined by an academic to deliver the program. I think the students will be the testimony to the experience.
Absolutely, correct.
This is just one example. I think that so here we are not trying to substitute. First of all, let me just clarify this. There is an academic delivery that has to be delivered, no matter what comes. There is a theoretical rigor that has to be given.
Right.
We are saying that on top of this, let me sort of top it off.
Okay.
The icing on the cake is actually the practitioner's perspective.
The practitioners who actually bring the best practices to the classroom.
You name me
the real time
absolutely.
experience.
You name me one school across actually. Just let me know one business school across who has this advantage which is given actually. That means I am teaching electricity. I personally teach electricity actually.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And before I teach electricity, I make sure that I talk to the BD guy, the business development person in Adani Power before night.
Oh, okay.
I want to make sure, at least I would love to have him in the classroom for various reasons. We know how the corporate people are busy actually.
Correct, right.
So that is something so so valuable actually.
Right.
That I'm talking about a particular sector and which I talk about various theoretical aspects of pricing electricity, this and that, the legal aspects of electricity, and that is true for the other sectors also. But I also make sure that I get the valuable inputs from the corporate who is practicing it. And if possible, drag it into the classroom for a session.
Okay. All right.
That closes my,
all those resources are quite in fact a phone call away.
Absolutely. It is
maybe not just an email away.
It is just there.
Okay.
In fact, it will be, so I think that's a huge kind of, advantage and the USP.
Right.
That the institute has, which is absolutely amazing actually. Absolutely amazing.
Correct. So in fact for all our viewers, this actually point makes much more sense. That you have all the practitioners of the industry, coming to the classroom and sharing their very treasured knowledge, with all the students as well. Now, Professor, just to bring the discussion forward, what are the graduate profiles or the attributes you're looking at into this program?
You mean to say the input side?
The input side, yes, and correct. And if I can add one more question to this particular question itself, who can apply, to the program? Who can apply really? Because we have received many emails and many queries from a lot of students who are from technical background and who are also from non-technical background, who are actually seeking some sort of a guidance into, how do they really apply and how do they really fit into the program?
So again, so let me just try to answer it in some broad parameters actually.
Okay.
We are not looking at a stellar undergraduate kind of records actually. What we are looking at is some idea about or passion about where you want to go down the years in terms of career.
Right. Okay.
If the person is already sure that he or she wants to be in the infra space, I mean, this is the place.
Right.
There it stops.
Okay.
So we are not looking at whether the person is a BCom graduate or a BCom graduate, a BE civil or a BE electrical. We are looking at, because we are not technical in that nature.
Right.
Because our graduates fit a beautiful space in infra companies. which is, I would say, the business development space. It could range from executive assistant to the CEO, to the business development manager in various space actually. That include, you name this department, and our graduates fit into that space. To consulting companies, which is the government in utility verticals, to infra banks. So you name the banks, they have dedicated infra finance verticals. Companies like SBI Capital Market, they have recruited in the past. Companies like PwC, they have recruited in the past. But they have recruited in that particular vertical that we're talking about, which is such a sweet spot actually.
Right.
So the point that I'm making is that we are not looking at a stellar undergraduate performance. At the same time, we do not want Dutch to come here.
Right.
At the same, but the passion should be there. We have in the past recruited people who are not so great in their undergraduate performance, but we have really been able to transform their career in terms of not just putting them in a particular company, to make them a better individual act. That's also a part of the business school, because we are professionally, we are professional school actually. We are not standard,
absolutely. And in fact, all the people would even buy this argument that in fact, these 2 years eventually for most of the prospective aspirants these 2 years, in fact, the post-graduation education will be in fact the final 2 years of your academic career, for most of the graduates, and unless you really want to pursue the academics further. So the point that Professor Saab is actually making, it does make a lot of sense, right? One more question that we have, in fact, that needs your explanation, in fact, and some more light on the topic is, what are the various career prospects, after a particular student opts for infrastructure management?
So so this is something I think it ranges actually from any company. I would say any company who is into infra space, whether it is a bank, whether it is a consulting company, whether it is a think tank, whether it is a infra owner like the airport owners, power plant owners, SEZ owners, and other planning commission, including planning commission actually. We all all these companies they really mean a lot to us, to our graduates.
Right. Okay.
So again, I know companies, like for example, I'm saying let's talk about a consulting company. So consulting company, we have a government utility vertical. There this graduate fit very well. The same thing if I go to, let's say, a typical infra owner, for example, an airport owner. Again, it could be GVK, it could be GMR, it could be any other airport owner. So they have right from a tariff department to business development department to tendering to contracting. I think again the graduates fit really well over there. So I would not limit to any companies. I am saying that any company who is into infrastructure, business, especially managing infrastructure business, not the constructing part. So let me also clarify this. We are not construction management school.
Right. In fact, that was one of the questions I really wanted to
ask. I even don't want to put that in any other lighter context. Construction management is part of the infra management delivery. So it's a subset of infra management delivery. So a lot of, again, there is a bit of misconception out there that has to be clarified. Construction management schools are doing well. Let them do well. I wish them good luck. But we are very focused. We are saying that it is larger than the standard package out there. It is all put together actually. So again, any companies who are into infra space are the companies that mean a lot to us.
Right. So how is this different from really some specialized programs within the infrastructure space? For example, you say construction management. We say that it's a part of an overall spectrum called infra management. Then
while we are specialized, we are not hyper specialized. We are very sensitive to that fact that the moment you hyper specialize, you are not giving education, you are giving skills.
Correct. Right.
Yeah. So we are not skill development center actually. That's another clarification we are trying to make.
Right.
So people or institute who are highly super specialized or hyper specialized, I would say, they are into skill development. That means after some time, if the oil and gas sector is not doing well, which it is not today, then I think they are not sellable. Yeah. So we are specialized, but we are a big basket actually. So we have verticals oil and gas in the sense we do not proclaim publicly, but we teach energy in a very nice way. We teach other verticals in a nice way, so that there is a lot of bandwidth actually. Breadth-wise, our graduates are more, more sort of adaptable compared to a super specialized or hyper specialized program. That's the first part. Right. And the second part, how it is different, is again, again coming back to the point one. Tell me one business school which is supported by the, by a larger infra conglomerate, or rather, or by a group whose activity is same, more or less, in the same space as the business school is. So the schools that you and me know, who are into super specialized and hyper specialized, are basically standalone schools. And again, without getting into the nitty gritty of delivery, I think we are banking on the delivery part. That's it.
Okay, so that's the major differentiator in fact.
Absolutely, there is no way we are going to dilute the delivery. Neither we are in any kind of competitive mode. We are absolutely clear. This is a very, very sacred space, and there is absolutely no one. In fact, it's almost like taking some academic concept. It's a blue ocean strategy for us. We don't see any competition actually. That's it.
Right. Okay. Correct. So, Professor, if you can just again, for this particular program, PGDM Infrastructure Management, how about, we received quite many inquiries from quite many students, and since this is a business management program, a lot of queries actually revolve around the placements at the institute. So how do you really address all the questions about placements, and what are the opportunities for the students? The way we discuss the career prospects, what are the opportunities for students as far as the placement is concerned?
See, again, I think again the story of 2015 batch, which is the 2-year program, is going to end in 2017 April.
Correct.
Okay. And the placement season is already on. Right. The statistics is available. It's quite encouraging actually. Some of the consulting companies, they have picked our students.
Right.
Some of the, but I think I will not look at this statistics actually. I will look at the old statistics. Right. Because as I told you, the 1-year program and 2-year program.
Okay.
I mean, that's phenomenally, it's so high, so good for us actually, because most of the infra companies, they have recruited our graduates.
Okay.
So placement, again, I think when we look at, we are there to help students, and we are quite sure that the graduates would automatically get into the space that we are designing, or we are designing the program that the way it should give us the final outcome. But the point I'm making is that placement is an outcome of the delivery that we are making. That is the first part. Second part is that having the support of the group and the associate company and the outreach that we have, I do not want to make any kind of comment on this particular weightage that is
on the placement
part of the placement.
Right. Okay. So basically, the placements are really the part and parcel of the program. I mean, the student should not really be picking a B school just by looking at or maybe just by. I mean, it's an aspiration. Agreed.
I agree. Actually, I agree. But again, when I'm saying this, I'm not trying to sort of dilute the placement aspiration or the valuation of parent or students. All I'm trying to say is that for us the placement, again, it is not a struggle actually. It is not a struggle.
Right.
Neither I'm saying that the others are struggling. I don't want to comment on the others. All I'm saying is that we are in a very safe place.
Correct.
In safe hands, both from academic perspective as from support perspective.
Right.
I do not want to go further on this. In the sense, the placement is an outcome of efforts by all the stakeholders.
Right. Okay.
The stakeholder include the institute stakeholder and the support from the group.
Okay. Right. Okay. Correct. Okay. So it's been almost 30-35 minutes now that we are discussing about the institute and about the program. I have one comment from a viewer here, Rishi Dave. Hi Rishi, thank you for commenting. He basically asks that how do you see the future of infrastructure managers? We have discussed about this again, but then if you can just answer the question.
The answer, this is a very nice question actually, but I think the answer is same as how do you see the future of business manager. So the point is, we are into a program which is fundamentally producing business managers, but the sector is infrastructure, and infrastructure story is never ending actually.
Right.
It's absolutely never ending. Look at the US, the best infrastructure in the place.
Correct.
The back to infrastructure. So the point we're trying to make is that it is a space that you should be passionate about, and there are evolution of infrastructure actually. So you may be at a build stage, you may be at a manage stage, you may be at a future building stage, expansion stage. It's on and on actually.
And in fact, with governments after governments and policies after policies focusing on major infrastructure projects.
Absolutely. We are compared to China, we're spending nothing. So in terms of percentage, if I just see, China spends almost 11 to 12% on infrastructure, and after that, they're still deficient.
Right.
And we are not hitting 4 to 5% actually. That means the miles to go actually.
That also talks about the scope.
There is huge opportunity. I mean, we're talking about, today we're talking about, let's say, Delhi, Mumbai industrial corridors. We're talking about patches actually. They're not patches. We wanted to see the entire India to have, dedicated freight corridors. We wanted to see entire India to have expressways. We wanted to see the entire country having fully, electrified and electricity surplus actually. We wanted to see SEZ. We do not want to see SEZ in fact. We wanted to see India as an SEZ. The entire India become SEZ. That's the goal. That's the ultimate. So I think to answer Rishi's question, I think till India becomes an SEZ, you have scope. Now you can imagine where they are today.
Right. So Rishi, you have your answer here. In fact, and for all the viewers, there is tremendous scope into this sector in this Uberized world. I would put it in that way.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. All right. Because Uber. I don't know how do you really segment the business that they are into. Is it a transport segment? It is a technology segment? Is it an IT infrastructure? Maybe you pay through your wallets, so you're involving the banking infrastructure.
Absolutely.
So how do you put it into perspective?
Yeah.
Talking of Uber.
Again, that's the part of disruption that is happening in the infra space actually.
Right.
So a lot of people believe that Uber is a transport company. To me, actually, it's not a transport company. It's a technology platform. It's an exchange actually.
Okay.
Like you have, stock exchange. Uber is an exchange. What it is doing, it is trying to infuse liquidity actually.
Okay.
That is good. But the same concept, as you rightly pointed out, has tremendous amount of implications in terms of back-end infrastructure, so-called physical infrastructure.
Right.
So while Uber is absolutely, in a virtual world, I would say, but for that, a lot of disruption is happening in the physical world. The way taxi companies are operating, the roads are being built today, the roads have to take into account something called not just Uber world, but a driverless world.
Right. Okay.
So it is possible.
Correct. Absolutely. In fact, the logistics and the transport sectors and everything is going through such a sea change.
Absolutely.
You have machine to machine learning. You have driverless vehicles. The concepts coming in. You have artificial intelligence. Experts are talking about it from a long time. You have digital disruptions happening.
That's true.
So in fact, a lot of scope is there. Is what we understand, and it's visible. The scope is visible.
Any disruption that is happening in technology space, in our technology, I always think technology is part of infrastructure. But the point is that even if for a moment I say, technology is not part of the hard infrastructure, but any disruption that is happening in technology space has huge implications for physical infrastructure.
Correct.
And that is already visible, but that gives us a lot of confidence and that gives us a sense of opportunities actually.
Yeah? Right, correct. Achha, I'm just going to take a couple of very specific queries from some of the students and some of the emails we have received. One prospective female aspirant has asked that, sir, I am a BBA graduate. Can I pursue this course? It's a simple query.
Yeah, to the same answer actually. If you can pursue an MBA or PGDM program, you can pursue PGDM into management because it's a business management program.
Correct. So here you have your answer. I have another question from another prospective aspirant. He happens to be an IT engineer,
right,
and with some amount of experience. He has somewhere close to 2.5 years of experience.
Right.
So he's saying that, sir, I am an IT engineer. I have this 2.5 years of experience into this industry.
Right.
Now basically he has two pronged queries. One is that what is in it for him, And the other query is that, sir, do civil engineers have an advantage in this program?
That I think that's a very most sort of we come across this question quite often actually.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So let me just take this question. So IT engineers, do you have what is it? What is this course is going to offer to you? Again, I think most of the infra conglomerate, they are also within organization wise, they are going through a transformation phase, right?
Okay.
And this transformation is not just strategic but also in technical nature. That means a lot of something called the sort of leveling of the platform, the way operate they have been operating is going through. They are going through a tremendous amount of something called business transformation.
Right.
Now, it reminds me of one of our graduates actually who had almost 5 to 6 years of IT experience, and he got employed by one of the largest infra conglomerate in their business transformation project.
Okay.
So that advantage that he had got translated into a job which is giving him the both sides of the world.
All right. Okay.
So I'm not trying to sort of suggest that okay, IT engineers can work only in those space. I'm saying that having this IT knowledge is an asset that will remain with you forever actually. For this particular candidate ever, it is going to be applied depending on the context.
Right. Okay. That's a perspective.
That's one part of it. Second part, you asked me that civil engineers do you have
That's actually a continuous query we receive on emails and so on.
So this answer is same as I know Tamil for example, and I get my posting in Tamil Nadu.
Okay.
So that advantage is again contextual. As long as I am in Tamil Nadu, I will have an advantage, but I am not. That advantage is very short term.
All right. Okay.
Because again, the moment we because the program in no way discriminate between graduates' background.
Okay, correct, perfect, right.
That means no way any particular class session will have an advantage to a particular kind of student's background because it is an MBA program.
Correct, absolutely. That's
so
right.
that does not mean that a finance course will not or a chartered accountant coming to the classroom will not have advantage in finance course. That will be there. But I am saying that we have not designed those things. We have not designed the course keeping those things in mind. We are keeping a very agnostic kind of background that we assume that all of you are in the same footing.
All right. So that's in fact an interesting perspective for all the viewers. This particular program is a management program which is actually the graduation agnostic. It doesn't really. It becomes indifferent to whatever your graduation background is, right? Correct.
I mean, again, some of the best graduates, at least, I don't want to name those institutes, but they are the top end institutes, and I also belong to that institute. And there I have seen actually the top performer are from social science background, not from the top IITs or the BTech graduates, because the course design is such it does not give you that advantage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Correct. Okay. All right. How about some experienced candidates? If they really want to apply and if they really want to take a career forward.
I mean, this is heart of heart. If you ask any business school.
So I tell you a very specific question that I have received over an email. That here is a candidate who is an electrical engineer by background, who did a bit of a certificate program from an institute and happens to have somewhere close to 5 years of an experience within the sector. So he's within the power industry and he's looking forward to adding some more value to his overall profile. So how do you really see this program and his profile fitting?
So again, finally it all depends where you want to go. So this particular background, having 4 to 5 years of having worked in the electrical industry, and how does he want to leverage this background? That is very important because the course is in the intersection between graduate students and an industry. Yeah, this is in the middle actually.
Correct.
And so we only can join dots provided you want to be part of the straight line.
Got it. Okay.
Right? So you have a passion in the power sector or energy sector, and I am coming with 4 to 5 years of energy background.
Okay.
I mean, energy company could not have been more happier than recruiting me.
Okay.
I mean, then the most happy person to recruit me actually, right?
Right.
So there is a huge advantage actually, and
Correct.
within the classroom setting, it has been absorbed. It is quite well established that the experienced people, their participation level, their performance is always high.
Right. Okay.
So academically, we expect the experienced person to perform well. The moment the performance is something that is beyond or rather it's good, then automatically the outcome is also
correct.
Good.
Okay. I have this another comment here on this program. We are in the final this segment of this particular session, but I would just like to take these two questions very specifically. Jyoti Keswani is asking, sir, as of now I am working in an infrastructure company since 2015. So if I join, I will have to quit my job. Of course, Jyoti, yes, you will have to, because this is in fact, I mean, I can answer the question on behalf of Professor Saab that, this in fact is a 2-year full-time program and it's a residential program. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, there's all of us make trade-offs in life. So, and we have to get something. For that, we have to lose something. So, nobody can take the background from you as far as the job experience is concerned. But to be here, I cannot go to, or the institute cannot go to the workplace. Yeah.
Right.
But we will make sure that you don't lose much in terms of your experience, that that you carry forward. It will be a lifelong experience actually, because business school, what basically sort of adds to your career is basically they're the value adder actually.
Right.
That's a huge.
Right. Okay, that's right, sir. So Jyoti, I hope you have your answer there. Yeah. I have another question from Jaisal Vasanwala. He is asking, what will be the role of a student passing from this course, and what kind of jobs an aspirant can be offered, or how would one pursue his career after this particular program? So Jason, you have joined quite a bit late into this segment and we have answered the queries. But Professor, if you can just in a nutshell just answer this question, if we kind enough to do
what
that.
Kind of jobs, right?
Yeah, what a role a student passing out from this institute course should be looking forward to.
Role in terms of
the jobs,
career
yes.
jobs.
The jobs, yes.
Again, so basically, if you don't have experience, then we expect the graduates to join as management trainee. Yeah, the standard, the B school graduates, they join as management training. And again, those companies that we're talking about, basically fundamentally the infra companies, be it in consulting, be it in banks, be it in financial institutions, be in terms of think tanks, be it in infra owners, these are the space. Within that company space, you have a very nice space called business development space.
Right.
And there the graduates fit very, very well. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we've been talking about the program, the institute, the course and everything for quite some time now, and I would really wish to quickly wrap up the session now. Professor, if you can just in a bit tell us about the differentiators of the program, quite in a nutshell. And if you can just concise the entire discussion and give our all the viewers and the prospects a very brief idea.
Yeah, I think again this much
very quick 3, 4, 5 major differentiators and then we're done.
Yeah, so one is obviously the unique sort of value proposition that we are bringing to the classroom by having the support of the largest infrastructure conglomerate. Actually, that's the first thing.
Right.
And the second is actually the industry spillovers, the industry interface that most of the standalone business school they spend their entire sort of year searching for the right industry to come to the classroom. And here they are blessed actually.
Correct.
And the third is something called the seeing. Seeing is believing. That means because it is an applied course, it makes a lot of curiosity actually. How does an SCH look like? How does a power plant look like? So what we do, we take the students right to the ground zero where the activities are happening.
Right.
So for us actually, again, you mentioned in the beginning actually it's a phone call. That's true actually. That's true. We make a phone call, we make arrangements to our own facilities, and we make sure that the graduates go there and sort of immerse themselves in those 5-7 days to understand how a power plant operates, how an SCJ operates, how a solar manufacturing plant operates.
Correct.
So I think that so these are the main sort of thing, and the fourth one is the curriculum and the delivery actually.
Okay.
We do not compromise on that aspects. And all put together, we expect the industry to sort of embrace the graduates with open hands, open arms.
Correct.
Yeah, that means the final placement we expect it to be much more than what
Correct. So here it is, for all of you, for all the viewers, that there are, it's an Adani edge that really works for the institute and for the graduates. There is an extensive industry interface, and then you have a very rigorous and a very nicely designed, a very scientifically designed course curriculum and the pedagogy, and everything eventually materializes into a good career prospects for you, and very good career platform for all of you. So here we wrap up the session here. And thank you for all our viewers who have joined us live or viewing us live from across the world. A lot of people who have commented. Thank you for your comments. I hope the answers were pretty satisfactory. You can still drop us emails. You can still call us, call the institute. You can still visit the institute personally to see the campus, facilities, to meet some of the faculties, to meet Professor Saab, and also to meet some of the students who are studying here on campus. So thank you so much all of you for joining in the session, and we wish you good luck. Thank you.
Thank you so much.